Well, hello folks, welcome along to the channel. My name is the Custard Prophet, and we're back for another video looking at Tennis Manager 2022. It's a bit of a one-off video. We're going to be looking here at five small changes that I think the developers could do to make Tennis Manager 2022 even better than it is. So I'm not looking at whole-scale changes here. These are just five small little tweaks to the game that I think would really improve it. If you like that sort of video, like the idea there, make sure you'll drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more Tennis Manager 2022 content coming up and other types of Tennis Manager content. So I want to put it straight out there. I am not here to dump on Tennis Manager. I think the game is a fantastic game, considering there's really not a lot in that genre of game. They put a game out last year, Tennis Manager 21 on the PC. I think they had a mobile game out before that. TM21 was a great game, but it didn't quite grab me. It didn't suck me in like some other games. I was playing Tennis Elbow Manager 2 at the same time. That one did suck me in and really grabbed me. But the new game that came out earlier in the year, this one, Tennis Manager 22, has grabbed me, and I think they've done an excellent job improving from the kind of first iteration of the game. So if you are umming and ahhing over this game, I would highly recommend it. It is exciting. It's a fabulous game, and it is only going to get better. I think this series, if they keep at it, this is going to be quite something. But there's always room for improvement. So let's look at those five small changes that I would make to improve this game. Okay, number one, I want a truly starting from nothing option. So they put a couple of really nice things in here, so you can manage an existing academy when you start up the game, or you can create your own academy. If we go into there, we'll just call it the Fairly Good Academy. We don't want to, or Fairly God Academy. Why not? Why not? So we've got a couple of options here when we put this in. We have four options. So we've got a new academy, a well-established academy, a high-profile academy is where we can start, which is great. And they've got this start from zero option, and they've also got various different budgets, low all the way up to very high. So for my save, I did a start from zero with a low budget, so 100k budget. Now the thing here is the start from zero doesn't actually mean start from zero. You have infrastructure in the academy, so you already have a pretty good youth and scouting centre in place. You've got aspects of the training facilities in place, you've got aspects of the medical centre in place, aspects of the business centre in place. I want an option where you can start properly from zero. It's where you have to really battle from nothing all the way up, and you can then decide to do that with this kind of low budget, if that's even possible, or higher than that. That would be an awesome way of doing this. I think there's a lot of players of this game who like to play in that sort of way, particularly of this style of game, the kind of survival type game where you start with the lowest possible thing you can and try and build things up. It's a lot of fun to do, but here I think you're starting from a point that's a little bit too high. So that would be my first suggestion. Okay, my second suggestion, and I'm going to show some examples of this on screen. We're back here at the only academy that matters, the Death Academy, and that is the interactions that you have with players. I love what they've tried to do with this in the game. It's a big improvement on what it was. Certainly your pre-game talk, your talk during the game, all of that stuff I think is really nice, in the way that you've got to pick the right option to try and improve, maybe motivate or relax, but it's not entirely clear what that option is. I think all of that dynamic is brilliant. The problem I have is the options that are available to me. Some of them are just weird things. People who've watched my channel will know I've complained about this non-stop. The developers who make this game, fantastic people. They're French, and I think there may be some lost in translation aspects to these comments. I think it just needs sharpening up in the English language. They probably work brilliantly well in French, but they just don't work in English. So I think some examples of that, of those comments where you can kind of relax, motivate, etc. They're not all terrible, but there's just some that just, I think, trying to be funny, but in the end not really managing it to be funny. So yeah, that would be huge if because it just irritates me a bit. Those things, it just, some of them make no sense, and I've got no idea why anybody would say any of these things to anybody, you know, without getting a slap back. So you know, it would be awesome to get that improved. Okay, training. I'm sure people would have expected me to go here. In my previous videos, I have said that I found the training quite hard to work. I found it cumbersome and complicated. I'm going to completely go back on all of that now because I actually quite like it, and I'm going to be putting a training video out at some point in the not too distant future. I do the training myself mainly now, but there is a weird buggy aspect to training which I do not like at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't seem like it should be part of the game, but yet there she blows. And this is, so the two important things what you want to be looking at with the training is obviously this screen here, which tells you which different types of training you want to put in, and then the report screen here, which shows you how far you are away from upskilling to the next training level. So going from 10 on Smash to 11 on Smash, for example. Now, great. It would be lovely if there was a quick way to go between those two screens, if you could kind of bring this up or a version of this up in the other screen. That's not what my moan is about, though. I'm sure people who've been using the training have noticed this. So, for example, you have got your serve power really high. Imagine it's a little bit higher than this, maybe 95%. So you set up the next training session, and you think, right, so we're going to put some serve power in here. There you go, which is going to have a strong effect on the training of serve power. It's going to increase the percentage that you've got by quite a bit. And say, well, you accidentally think, well, actually, what we want to do is then push on and try and get that up the next week. You know, try and really push that serve power up. What will happen is, even if you're at 95% with the serve power and you've got 2 sessions booked in that week, you won't go up, you know, the 20-30% that you would normally have done. You will go up as far as the end of that particular thing, so you at the end of the 11, and then it will stop there. You won't get those extra percentage points added on to your 12, which seems weird to me. You should get, you know, the 5% you need to complete your 11 to get your 12, and then your 12 rating, and then you should get then the 15% extra that's put there to sort of to get you started to get towards 13. I'm explaining this really badly, but hopefully you know what I mean. But it doesn't work like that. You just end up like this. It's gone up 1 and it just sits there. So it does mean when you're doing training, you've got to look really hard at this, because the last thing you want to do is have something that's really high and you think, oh, I'm going to put a lot of effort into that, just try and push that up because I know we need it, but actually it never actually increases it. It just takes it to the 1, the full 100%, and then sits there until next week. And I just find that weird. Shouldn't be like that. It should go up the percentage that you're due. seems sensible to me. Hopefully I'll edit that together to make it sound more coherent than that felt when I was saying it. Game plan. And this is not something I've been playing with a mass of time, and there's a lot of options here. But I feel some of these options could do with being a little bit more dynamic than just 3. So, for example, power, low, average, high, risk, low, average, high. You know, I feel a lot of these things could do with sliders. So you've got more of a continuum rather than these 3 options. Much more like you've got with the rally position, which I do like. But with a bunch more of these things. Obviously with a shot type you can't do that, but certainly when you're talking about things like power, thinking about risk, you want that sort of continuum to be able to be a little bit more fine-tuned with the way you're doing things. So I'd like to see a bit more attention put into here with some more appropriate choices, just to make it a little bit easier to work with for me. Now, I think this is probably an area where most people will be thinking, this is where he's going to moan about. But actually, in terms of the effect of these game plans on a player, I've seen a lot of comments about game plans having no effect at all. I think they do have an effect, but I'm just yet to make my mind up on how much of an effect they have, whether it's appropriately powered or not. So that's why I'm not talking about that. But in the comments below, if you think the game plans have very little effect, have a comment down below. Let's hear what your take on that is and your experience. That would be nice to hear. So that's number 4. Some more sliders. Remember, these are just little things, not kind of changing everything. Okay, and the last one, and there are other places I could go, certainly, but we're back with the communication aspect. I think this is just generally an area where this game could be improved, and this is the after tournament interviews. Some of the questions that I've had in these after tournament interviews bear literally no resemblance to what actually happened in the game. It's like it's been randomly selected. I get a random question, and you think, well, how do I answer that? So, yeah, that didn't even happen, and yet this is what you're saying. And I could storm out, but obviously, what's the point of that? So it would be amazing if the interviews were a little bit more varied, and we got some relatively related questions to actually what went on in the tournament, what the interview is about. That would be really nice. Not these kind of generic questions that seem to be just kind of randomly generated for me to get annoyed about. Anyway, folks, these are my 5 suggestions where we can make some 5 relatively small changes to Tennis Manager 2022, which I think would have a big impact on the experience of playing the game. Okay, folks, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought of those 5 suggestions. Are the small changes that you would like to see in the game, maybe around the scouting? I think there's definitely things I could talk about there, but to be fair, I haven't done a lot of scouting in the game this time round, so I'm not really going to comment on the things I haven't done a lot of. So yeah, I think the scouting may be something that people might be a little frustrated about. I think, as I say, the game plans might be people thinking they're not powerful enough. I'd be interested to hear what small changes you would make the game to improve it. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? I would be fascinated to hear that. If you're enjoying Tennis Manager content, this is the channel for you. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more of this. We have a Tennis Manager 2022 series going on. We'll have some Tennis Elbow Manager content coming up fairly soon towards the end of the year. And if you like Football Manager content, well, we've got that as well. Anyway, folks, I'll leave it there. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit the like on the video, subscribe if you are new, hit the notifications. I always forget to say that. to make sure you don't miss anything that I upload to the channel. And I will see you again in another video. Goodbye.